Hey everybody, welcome to DKTV, where we're talking PGA, the 145th British Open. How exciting. Joining me, our guests, Seb from Seb on Golf, Jamie Hinks, DK Ryder, and Edo Delamonte. Now, this little segment we called Pick and Avoid. I'm going to ask these guys, who's the one guy you think you really got to choose this weekend for the British Open, and one guy you think is just going to stink it up? Start with our guest, Seb. Seb, who's your picker? Who's your avoider?
My pick is the man, El Nino, Sergio Garcia. I have spent a lot of time refuting him as a pick in the majors because of his lack of, I think, mental strength to really believe in himself. But Sergio, if you're listening, don't believe in yourself because I believe in you. You've got the heart of the fans behind you. You can ball strike the hell out of any golf course. Rule Troon, I think, has got your name on it, providing we get a good draw for the weather conditions. So it's about time Sergio stepped up and got it done this week. He's got some excellent form coming into this event with some top fives and a win this season. The guy can win and has contended in all different sorts of golf courses. So I finally do believe it's his time to break through, just like DJ broke through, won his first major. So Sergio is my guy to go for.
Okay, who are you going to avoid in this one?
Now, my avoid is, to the contrary, somebody that I've been tipping to do really well. I actually tipped to do really well in this year's Masters, but it just did not happen. Ricky Fowler, incredible rise, finally really started to deliver on some of his potential, has exceptional form on the British Open, particularly. But I just don't think he's got it right now. I think he's lost his confidence, he's lost his mojo. I'm not quite sure what's going on with his game because I really, really like what he does. Especially love how he holds out putts. The weather conditions in a course like Royal Troon in a British Open type event are going to make you make lots and lots of 6-7 foot par saving putts. This guy rolls them in for fun. I'm not sure he's going to do it this week. And if you haven't got that part of your game going, you can very easily get gobbled up by a links course. So I would say, because he's quite expensive as well in the DraftKings contest, to avoid him this week.
So go with Garcia and foul out on Fowler.
Correct.
Jamie, picker and avoider.
I mean, Seb was talking about mental strength. I think Dustin Johnson, as he mentioned, is a guy who's now seems to have gained a lot of mental strength after. There you go. Yeah, if he didn't have the mental strength, at least he has that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he used to kind of crash out of majors at the weekend as if he'd gone on a massive bender on the Friday.
Usually probably did.
And then just thought, oh no, I can't be bothered. I don't need a jacket or anything like that. Now he has the US Open. Maybe he'll get a green jacket next year. Who knows? But yeah, won the US Open just a matter of weeks ago. And he's so in form right now. He's scoring over 90 fantasy points per tournament. He's going to be very highly owned, I fear, which may scupper you a bit. But if you're playing cash games, you're going to have to take him because everyone else will have him and you don't want to lose. And then my avoid is Shane Lowry. Sorry, 8,800. He was 6 over last week and was cut at the Scottish Open, which really worried me quite a lot when I looked at it because I thought it's played in the same country, it's similar conditions, and he hasn't played well in Europe on his last couple of trips over here. And at 8,800, I think he's too much. You can get Willett for a tiny bit more, and I think in this section of players, which is kind of, I guess it's in the middle, but it's a little bit more expensive in the middle. I just don't think you'll find space for him in your lineup unless you sacrifice one of your bigger guys.
All right, Edo, your pick and your avoid, please.
My pick is Sergio for the romantic reasons Seb and I mentioned earlier. I still remember the 07 when, of course, he massively choked and let Ernie Elsin, was it Ernie? Sorry, it was Porrig Harrington, which was absolutely horrific. I watched that with a hangover. So now for me, Sunday Sergio is kind of synonymous with hangover. I don't know if he goes out and drinks on Saturdays. I don't think so. But hey, so there are other things to say about him is that his ball striking this year has been phenomenal, as you mentioned earlier. He's 10th in birdie average. He's 11th in tee to green. He's 2nd in GIR. And there's something else. His driving accuracy is actually not sensational. He's 100th. But he will almost always be top 30 in ball striking this year. In fact, at 6 out of 8 tournaments, in terms of striking, he's always up there. So he makes up for it with power, and he's still not that inaccurate. I think one of his worst was Northern Trust. Since then, he's been pretty awesome. And yeah, in general, I think that what I mentioned earlier about his flaw, I still think that he handles these places well enough that he will be good. And for 10,000, so he's a snip under the sort of top 4 guys, but I think he can still do as well as them. It's not better than. Better than, I think, unfortunately, my, in the drink, I feel sorry saying this, Jordan Spieth at 11,700, when he's actually a really tempting prospect. He can either be an incredible hit or a miss, and I'm going to go for miss here, even though I would understand people picking him at 11,700 for not only the reasons you mentioned, but because he is cheaper than the others. And if he does show up with his putter, he's very dangerous. I don't think he will. And my problem is, I watched him at the Masters, and this is something our previous colleague Rory was saying. He was saying, well, even before day 4 when he choked, he was actually getting a lot of stuff off the fairway into the rough. This is the kind of place that will absolutely eat you alive if you do that. Despite that, you know, he won the first 2 majors last year, came 4th here, missed a playoff by 1 stroke. I don't know. There's something missing in Jordan Spieth's game. He may not miss the cut. I'm not saying something like that, but if he comes in the 40s, you'll be disappointed you spent that much on him.
All right, and for myself, my pick, Danny Willett. I think that he's been prepping for this. He's British. He's been working on it. He won the Masters, and he's really looking forward to it. I think he's got an eye on the prize. He really wants to wow that hometown crowd. So Danny Willett, I'm going to say you to pick you. That's what you're on my list. My avoider, Spieth. I don't like him.
Personal difference.
I feel like someone says that every time we film.
I don't like him.
I don't like him. I'm sure I've said it before. I'm like, I don't like him.
I just don't like him.
You know what? He doesn't like you either.
I'm sure he doesn't. I know he watches this, and I know because he cries into his pillow and sends me the pillowcase. I don't like you.
Yeah, but I liked him. You know, that spring break. I respect him so much for spring break. With Smiley and JT.
Yeah.
No, but he's fun. I don't think Ronaldo's fun to be with.
Yeah.
I think Jordan would be fun to be
I don't
with.
think so. He's all the things you were saying, but I think it's one of these things that if he gets his little bonnet up and he just why I'm not gonna make it. That's his voice inside my head. I don't like him.
Ronaldo. There you go.
Yeah, there it is. That's my Ronaldo. I don't like you. And I'm sure you're a nice person. You're a great family and all that. I don't know. I don't like you.
Douglas Bader fights the Battle of Britain with no legs. I mean, Ronaldo, ooh, me knee. There you go.
Yeah, well, anyway, you're not on my list. I wouldn't pick him. Too expensive. Save your money on something else. But those are our picks and avoids. How do you get involved? You go to DraftKings. Go to DraftKings.com or in Europe, DraftKings.co.uk. Play along to the British Open. They're giving away $1 million, guaranteed. What are you going to do with $1 million? I know what I'm going to do. Crank called Spieth every day for the rest of my life. Welcome to the big time.